We'll go from what is tree plantation, because that's a basic question that everyone needs to know to understand the topic, to the purpose of tree plantation. I know purpose and importance can be the same thing, most people would say, but purpose and importance are different because purpose is why we're planting and importance is how is it affecting us, but like positively. And disadvantage is how is it affecting us negatively or what are we doing wrong. And potential solutions because of the disadvantage. What is tree plantation? Tree plantation is the process of planting trees, either in large scale, such as the reforestation project, or in small scale, as in gardens and indoor, like in the balcony. Purpose of tree plantation, there's many purposes. For environmental, the tree main is carbon dioxide and oxygen. Trees take in harmful pollutants such as particulates, which if you inhale it, it will damage your alveoli in the lungs and thus will make your heart and lungs work harder. And it also takes in carbon dioxide and gives us fresh oxygen. And it is said that trees can reduce a temperature of around up to 7 degrees Celsius around the place. And it also helps keep the moisture in place and it keeps the wind high. And it helps with flooding and soil erosion because it takes in the water that's been flooded and thus its roots also clings into the soil, which makes it harder for the soil to erode. For wildlife, many of the wildlife depends on trees and forests for their habitat. Also, they get their food since no one of us is feeding them. We may help a few of our own humans, but we do not even help all of them. How are we expected to help the wildlife? Health. Not only physical health, but also mental health is affected. For example, in the physical health, when we go into the trees, our depression and stress levels, they reduce slightly, and it also gives rest to the eyes. Green is a color that gives rest to the eyes, and it's even better with natural green, without the blue lights emitting from the devices. And our mental health it's the fresh air that's around the tree. It's the pollutant-free air. It's the sense of adventure that gives us. It all helps our mental health. For community, trees can be important landmarks or meets or places that people gather in a day or in a week or in a month, and it also helps to give a sense of pride. It gives us it gives young sense of adventure to be among the trees and in the forests, and also there's loads of activities to do, and it's also fun to plant trees, to play with them, to make new stuff with them, their leaves. The importance is they give us oxygen, which is crucial to our survival. They reduce the amount of water runoff, and flood is killing thousands of people around the globe each day. And it reduces erosion and pollution, as the previous presentation pointed out. With pollution, we cannot survive. So it reduces erosion and also pollution, and it gives habitat to live. Even us, humans, started from the trees. We started from wood. Now, the kind of how the comparison is, it's the comparison from 2010 to 2022, because the 2023 stuff aren't released yet. In 2010, in Bangladesh, here, 2.22 mha of tree cover, extending over 16% of the land's area. In 2022, we lost 13.8 kg of tree cover, equivalent to 8.0 T of carbon dioxide emissions. In China, they had over 133 million hectares of natural forest, extending over 16% of the land area. In 2022, it lost 471 kilohectares of natural forest, equivalent to 206 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions. In the US, which is also seen as a global leader, it had 252 million hectares of natural forest, extending over 29% of the land in 2010. But it lost 1.86 million hectares of its natural forest in 2022, equivalent of 663 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions. Now, if we see in the chart, hello? If we
Lip touch.
Lip touch. Hello. If we see here, wait.
Okay, you can continue without mic.
Speak.
No? Yeah. If we look at this map, it shows the tree covers in 2022. It is the tree cover loss in 2022. And these dots show where the tree cover has been lost due to wildfires. What we can see here, what we can observe, is that most of the tree covers, including Canada, USA, Russia, China, and almost every other country, even through Europe, they have lost a significant amount of tree cover. And that is affecting our climate right now. It's not exactly visible, but the purple dots around here shows us the amount of tree cover that has been gained. Now, if we look at this map, which shows us both the tree cover that has been gained, has been lost, and where there hasn't been any losses in the tree covers, then we can see that the amount of losses outweighed by very big amount the tree cover gain. And in a few birds, such as these here, we can see that there has been no change in tree. Now, we all know to combat the climate change, there has been certain deforestation. So, there has been certain reforestation, but it's not a disadvantage that we are planting trees. However, it's a disadvantage as to how we are planting trees, how we are actually conducting the reforestation. The problem here is monoculture. It's not widely known, even though the issue has been brought over for the past 1 year, from 2022. But monoculture planting is the planting of same trees over and over again. In the background, you can see that many trees, it's almost like a forest, but it's the same trees. And these trees usually include trees like timber. And these forests have to be cut down every 10 years and then replanted again. So this is giving us more harm than good. It also is one species. Only one species is there in the entire forest, and there has been no biodiversity.
that 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 they're given, the seedlings that they're given into that place. Because for example, in Costa Rica, they're giving $126 to anyone who plants the trees in a place that hasn't been reforested, that hasn't been covered by land, forests. However, they're giving only $36 for someone who is planting somewhere there has been a forest. Also, the introduction of non-native species. For example, in South Africa, a type of acacia has been introduced, and that acacia is incredibly invasive. Since it's incredibly invasive, what happens is the government tries and spends millions of dollars just to get rid of this species because they do not need them. They already have natural forests. For a potential solution, humans can only do two things, and forests will only have to do one. And it's not even hard. The only two things humans can do is protect. We have to protect our natural forests that we have right now. There may be loads of forests worldwide, but we have only a few forests left from before, and we have to protect those natural forests. See, if we protect and give them space, this forest we'll have to do nothing. Just have to give them space around the area that we want will be forests in the future. And since forests are amazing at reclaiming land, they will reclaim it themselves. We do not have to really do anything. We just have to take care of the land that we want. We do not even have to plant. I mean, it is good that we are planting, but we do not have to. All we have to do is protect the area around the natural forests, and they'll reclaim land back. Thank you. Questions?
Very good presentation. What is your advice? What can we do? What can we practice in our home or our daily life?
In home, we can, of course, plant trees. We can have gardens in our house, but and they're not going to have a significant change. Because what we need is not the not the plants that we can plant at home. We need those plants that actually store more time and that can live.
Okay, but
How many trees you plant in your life?
I do not know.
there are lots of actually tree. Mango tree, pineapple tree, then jackfruit tree.
How many
I'm
trees
gonna
you plant?
I cannot count actually lots of.
I do that.
When I eat any types of fruit, then I throw out the seeds. It will plant it automatically.
Hello.
Next picture.
Okay, but I have a question. Firstly, what class do you read?
Do I read?
কোন ক্লাসে পড়ো?
Oh, from 8.
Okay, so going low. Okay. Go to the purpose of planting tree slide. Slide number 3. Probably.
There's loads of purpose for planting trees.
Go to the slide number 3. Most probably.
This?
Okay. Okay. Go to the corner carbon dioxide and oxygen.
Carbon dioxide.
For a tree, which one needed? Carbon dioxide or oxygen?
Both.
Okay, so
A tree needs carbon dioxide in the morning, which usually takes in carbon and gives out oxygen. But in the night, it takes in oxygen and gives out carbon. That's respiration by the cells. But the amount of oxygen they take in and the carbon they give out is extremely less comparing to the humans, what we are doing in man-made and
in the monoculture planting?
Like a monoculture. Bruh.
Same plantation.
Yes.
Same
So
tree.
in this picture, we can see it's a forest, right? We can see forest like this almost everywhere. However, what we also notice in this picture is that every one of these trees are the same trees. They're just replanted over and over again. What happens is that when we plant trees this time, I mean, we all have read in geography that when we plant the same amount of vegetation, the same plants or vegetation in a certain area, it erodes, right? So what happens here is that to keep the land from eroding, every 10 years they cut down these trees. The governments cut down these trees and they replant it again. What happens then is that usually trees store carbon dioxide in their trunks. When we cut it down, they release the carbon dioxide that has been in the trunks to the environment, to the air. Also, if one disease, one pest attacks one of these trees, then all the other trees in the forest will perish. Because it's easy to pass by. It's the same tree. They have the same line of defense.
It's also
Alpine.
less the fertilizing procedures of the land.
Yes, but for that, the government cuts down the trees every 10 years and replant them. And usually what happens is that companies buy these lands, and they're usually like social lands and everything, and they